But yeah, so as such, this tapestry, the stories that happen here in San Diego, is including people of the community. This we have El Zarape de San Diego, which is our segment for the community that we talk with individuals who make up the mosaic of the beautiful game in San Diego, and that extends into various different ways. We've known this next individual for a couple years, and just always being very courteous with and just a genuine person, good person to chat to and talk to. We had reached out about, hey, how do we do this? Let's go ahead and get you in, because I think it's a very interesting perspective that you have, um, in terms of just your story with and your relationship with the game in San Diego. So let's work on it, because I think it's very interesting and good to get that perspective out. So let's go ahead and welcome our guest for the Sarapa de San Diego, El Papa. I was gonna play the thing, but it's not. I can't. That's exclusive for. You know what? Is it? I'm looking at him. Do you want it? I can throw it on there. He says, "Hands up." You know what? That's his boy. That's his boy. He's proud of him.
Lucas, great save from Shuttler, the first test of the evening. Looking in Taylor's direction, heads him down. Ferree is there. Big time save from his end now. Duran, Ferree, what a save.
Literally the worst.
No, it's not. No, it's the best, dude. It's the best. And I just love how you included that one save from Shuttler in there.
Yes.
Yeah, that was so great.
It's part of it. It's a package that we received from Orange County. So I'm like, you know what? I wonder. But
look, season's greetings.
Season's greetings.
As a big fan, I'm super pumped to even be on the show. My wife, while she's watching TV, she's like, "What are you watching? Those two balls and guys again?" I'm like, "Yes." That's basically what I'm doing. Yes.
Sorry, Mama Ferree.
Season's greetings to everybody in the family. But Michael Ferree, welcome. For those of you who aren't familiar, father of first San Diego FC signing in the history of the club, the first MLS team here in the city representing San Diego, was Duran Ferree. And you know him, you love him. The artist formerly known as San Diego Loyal's goalkeeper, transitioning into this new position. And I mean, again, we talked about a little bit how, we want to make sure to not overshadow what the actual athlete is doing in this at any point. But man, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not that crazy parent. You know what I mean? I'm not that, but I am a freaking big fan, of course. And it's been fun to watch. I mean, we were fans of Loyal before he ever joined the academy, so ironically, first and foremost, we were Loyal fans. And so it's really cool. The timing of everything with Duran has been a blessing, so it's pretty cool.
No, it's awesome. And that's really, really good. I mean, a fan of it, just naturally, organically, you heard of the team. Duran already played at that point, I imagine, and it was pretty into it. How did you guys come about into your soccer adventure as a family?
Well, we weren't a soccer family, to be honest with you, until Duran came around. And I think the youth of today, at least this generation of kids, the first thing they start doing is playing soccer. I mean, it's so easy to enter, playing down at the city rec team at 5-6 years old and kick the ball around. It's so hard to play baseball or basketball or football. Baseball is boring. I mean, I love it. I play baseball, growing up, but at the end of the day, T-ball's a sleeper of a game. Your kids are out there picking flowers. Some kids are interacting, some are not. But soccer, if you have a kid that is athletic or wants to play, like immediately they're out there kicking the ball, scoring goals, getting that instant gratification of doing something really, really awesome. So yeah, once he started playing, we sort of grew up in the sport together. Like I said, I couldn't be that dad that really coached because I didn't really know the game. Now, as my wife says, soccer is life here, and so if there's a game on, and it doesn't even matter. She's like, "Why are you watching this game?" It's like one of those things where it's like, random, team, and we're watching the game. I don't know, because we want to watch what's going on. And so it's been fun, man, because watching him sort of grow through the sport and be passionate about it has been a lot of fun.
I do want to ask, I mean, obviously Duran gets into the game, right? He's a kid, he's playing. At what point did you realize or said to yourself, oh, my kid's special, like he can make it to the next level?
Can I be 100% honest? I will always be 100% honest with you. So, but it probably wasn't until a year before he joined the Loyal Academy that it really clicked. I mean, he started playing, like I said, around 6, and he was that kid that scored goals all the time and was pretty, like, just athletic kid, and then he went to surf when he was, I think, about 9, and they didn't have a goalkeeper, so they just rotated all the kids. Everyone had to play a half of goalkeeper, and he's like, did that for a year. Still scored goals, played the mid, I think it was the number 9 spot mainly, and scored goals here and there. But he's like, Dad, I really want to play goalkeeper full time. We're like, are you sure? Like, are you sure you want it? Because once you go there, there's no really coming back from that. And so he just dove into goalkeeping, loved it. And people would say, like, oh man, he's really, really good. I go, oh, okay. Is he?
Yeah, I mean, yes, he is.
You know what I mean? But that was sort of the situation. That was the situation, was like, I think he's good, but I'm his dad, so I'm not really entirely sure. But after watching other kids, and then people go, no, he's got good hands, great feet, and does has good eye-hand coordination, all this sort of things, and he's definitely better than I was like, okay, cool. What does that mean? I don't know. What does that did it ever like click that I thought he would be professional? Not really. Because at that point you're just get good grades in school, work hard, practice, all that sort of stuff, and then whatever happens. But I'd say probably around 14, 15, it was like once he went to Loyal and Matt Hall really is like, no, he's special. That's kind of when it sort of clicked. I was like, oh, this is a possibility,
And then it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it took a couple of months, couple years, some development. There you are walking in and eventually getting that contract, that professional contract that gets you through the door. Can you talk about just kind of you and your family's experience with this? What are those talks like? Like, hey, like, are you sure you want to do this? Because it has some implications on the back end with education and whatnot, right? So what was that dynamic like as a dad going through it and trying to make sure that your kid at the end of the day does what's best for them, but is also happy?
Yeah, I mean, he really wanted to. This was his dream. This is his dream, to play professional soccer and really play in Europe and play at the highest level. That's what he wants to do, and we talked about it. And of course, his mom was more cautious, right? And going, if he does this, what about college? All this sort of stuff. And I was kind of like, live your dream, man. This is an opportunity that may not come around again. Let's let the kid live, kind of thing. And if this is what he wants to do, let's support him, and take this opportunity and go further with it and see what happens. And then, if something doesn't work out, then school's always there. It's not going to go anywhere. And so, it was definitely challenging because, these kids aren't getting paid a lot of money. Right. So like as a parent, you're like, well, how do we pay for college? So once you go pro, and if he does want to go to college, there's no scholarship. You can't, he's not going to go there and play and get, a scholarship. So how do we sort of justify that a little bit and call it, and so it was a conversation that went, back and forth. But at the end of the day, we kind of had to put faith in Duran and what he wanted to do and just support him.
And it's really cool that you have that outsider perspective, speaking about like just the game in general, right? Like you weren't a natural, soccer fan coming up and growing up. You don't have that instinct where you can kind of, hey, look, the mechanics are this way. Or when you're in this situation, you can just kind of put yourself in this headspace. Or I get what it feels like to, get a hat trick scored on you, or I know what that feels like. So what are those kind of things that you bounce off of him with? Because again, he's still a growing boy at the end of the day. Like he's still maturing. He's still had a long way to go to get to his prime. He's got a good head start, but I mean, what are those conversations like where you, okay, I'm done with you, Ricardo. All right, I get it. I get it. Like it's cool. Landon, cool. You two, back to Duran. But
Yeah.
what's that like? Essentially, like,
Yeah, and like firsthand what island that goalkeepers live on, right? Compared to other field players, where mistakes can get lost in the shuffle out in the field, but a mistake in front of that goalpost becomes tragic, And so, how do you deal with a position that there's a lot of failure involved in it? Is interesting, and I think it's twofold for Duran. He's such a good kid, and he's very calm, and he's very positive and forward thinking, and I think that's innate. And I think some of these like things, not only being athletic, but certain things are just sort of innate personality, that he's born with, and I think he's just blessed with that to some extent. But it's something we talk about, balancing positive and negative situations, and how negative situations, being negative, can greatly affect your play, or just even your chemistry and positive things. So how do you deal with things when they do get negative, and how do you sort of remain positive, or what we talk about is being neutral in situations where, listen, there's no chance where we're down 4 goals. There's no pretending to be a positive person right now, right? You're gonna freaking lose. But how do you just stay neutral and continue to work on the next play and forget about it and move forward? And then when the game's over, analyze it, perfect it, move forward. Like it's definitely a challenge, especially at a young age. And like I said, as a goalkeeper, I mean, I was shocked to some extent when we were going to loyal games. We were exposed because we were sitting behind the goal, which I think has been good for Duran, to watch like behind the goal of what's his, I'm sorry, the keeper at before Koke. Yeah, Austin, watching Austin on these guys play and get heckled, and get heckled by loyal or opposing fans. Goalkeepers get heckled by loyal fans and kind of laugh about it, and having him do that because, he got, what was that game last year, or he got thrown into, I think it was Mexico or New Mexico or something like that, when he got 2 or 3 goals scored on him within I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. You remember that game?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. And I hear it on TV, the fans going, Duran, you suck. Duran, you suck. Duran, it's all your fault. It's all your fault. And I'm like, I won't curse on your show, but I'm like, I was saying a lot of freaking curse words. I'm like, these men are yelling at a 16-year-old. He just got 2 or 3 goals scored on him. And they're thinking it's okay to tell a kid that he sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that's like, no other player on that field is going to get that. Nobody, except a goalkeeper, is going to be put in that situation where there's that sort of level of pressure, and then that sort of level of torment, I guess you could say, throughout the game. And to be able to, put that all in perspective when you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 30, is I think something that all professional goalkeepers need, learn or learn how to deal with, that probably we normal people wouldn't be able to handle,
I mean, the goalkeeping position, that's what we say. Like, I mean, good that you didn't have that background in soccer, Michael, because had he said, hey, I'm going to be a goalkeeper, the red flags would have gone like, wait, there's 11 people on the field and you want to be the one that uses their hands? Like the one that, and there's one of you, there's an 11 or 10 others on the field. Like, at least the referee runs the whole time, right? Like a goalkeeper, like
it's a hit or miss, right? I mean, if I told my dad growing up, I was like, oh, I want to be a goalkeeper. Like, no, you're not. Like, no.
I'm thinking about it now. Like when I told, so for me,
it's a big deal.
Yeah,
it's
was
a big deal when you tell your dad.
You're talking about, and my dad didn't grow up with soccer either. Like he wasn't a soccer fan. Same thing with like Michael. He grew up with baseball, other sports, and like that was his bread and butter. Even then, he wasn't really a sports guy, but it's just the unlimited support of your child. Like that's something I'm forever grateful for. And yeah, like you don't really understand what's going on in there, in between the ears, unless you're there. And it's the same thing. I started scoring goals, and I was always the bigger kid. And then no, I did 100%. And then one day, and I remember it,
Not
one
buying
day,
that.
and no, and I had come over from playing from being in karate in Chungkuk Do, which is Chuck Norris's discipline, and we've proven that actually a couple times. Met Chuck Norris a couple times, had no idea who he was, but I knew how to throw myself like that physical thing. So once they put me in goal, it was like a fish in water. Like I can express myself with my entire body. I got hit in the face and a bloody nose that first game that I played. And you know what? It's the most alive. I've been chasing that dragon ever since. Like,
Oh, that's hilarious. That's
the
funny.
most alive.
And the real reason now, Michael, that he's a goalkeeper, he was just a big chubby kid and he didn't want to run. That's the only reason.
Well, yeah. I mean, getting hit in the head now answers a lot of my questions. You know, that young at age. You know, but it is crazy. I mean, not only that, like people don't understand the position, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't play or really are involved in that position, the whole game is different. You know, I mean, you're talking about getting critiqued because you didn't save a goal, because something maybe centimeter here or there, or something happened where you didn't get it, and you get and you get ridiculed for it, or whatever. And then on the other side of it is you get blessed for making a save that you probably should have made it a lot easier, but because you were maybe out of position, it would look harder, and now somehow it's like an amazing save. No, it's like, so it's funny because like the critics out there, very few really know that position. And it's so easy to go, the goalkeeper fucked up right there, you know, or whatever, when you really have no idea.
It's really one of those things where you don't know until you're there. And even then, like it's a very hard position. And thank you for putting that respect on that. And you get a front row to it. I just pulled this up real quick, and Chivo was left like speechless because I have receipts. like look at how small those other kids are compared to me. That tank.
Tony, we know you were using those Chuck Norris elbows to like get through the, you know. You were like,
it was a special occasion. That
slide tackles were a little dangerous. I bet.
Well, I mean, just to give you perspective, that game we were actually winning, and this was part of the bigger shoot of it, and that was the first half. Once the game was settled, they put the goalkeeper out on the field. So just that intensity. Look at that.
You're like Kirby just inhaling the kids as they are passing out.
Bro, was that a Spider-Man goalkeeper kit?
Yes. He still has it.
Bro, dude,
no, he still has it. It's his bread and butter. It is his joy kit, his favorite kit of all time. His little Spider-Man kit.
That's amazing.
Found it.
How is that not hanging up back there, dude? How is that not hanging up on the wall of fame behind you? Oh my God, that's so great. That is so great. Put that on right now. Go ahead and put that on.
I haven't lost that much weight. I mean, but upon request, I'll put on this.
Oh, you're okay. Let's see this thing
for the bit.
For the bit.
Yeah, just dropped your head.
Yeah, we're gonna start.
I'm very curious to see if this actually kind of goes.
There's no way he's getting that over his. There's no way he's getting past his shoulders. No.
Yeah, no, not even the shoulders. All right. Spider-Man kit.
100%. You should tell Duran to really kind of look into.
Hey, SDFC, if you're listening to this SDFC, which I'm sure you are, bring a Spider-Man kit for Duran Ferree.
Yeah.
SDFC goalkeepers. That'd be sick.
Speaking of SDFC goalkeepers,
MLS.
Look at that. I mean, talk about one step and what led into the next one, right? Then this happens.
It's amazing.
Duran Ferree is the first signing for San Diego FC, the MLS team here in San Diego. Again, I want to get your perspective. What was the family just kind of dynamic with? Is that kind of something that it gets held up with regards in the Ferree family? Like that's on the family crest, like boom, firstborn Ferree.
It's cool. It's amazing. It's more than amazing. It's a blessing really to the family because you know, there's a lot of hard work that goes into things, and there's also a lot of timing that go into things. And so obviously Loyal was amazing timing, and so sad it was short lived. And then San Diego FC coming around was amazing timing. Um, and sometimes things fall in place, and we talk about just how do you capitalize on that when those things happen, because sometimes they don't, and even when they do, it's your hard work and what you're going to do after that is really going to solidify your name in the books. And so yeah, it's freaking awesome being San Diego, here in San Diego, and him being born and raised here. It was really awesome to have him close and so young. He'd be willing to move tomorrow to Europe, or go somewhere to live his dream. But mom and dad were like, "Oh, this is great. He can stay. He can stay here." So it's really cool, man. And I think what's awesome is that with SDFC, as far as I know, from what everybody else has seen in the public and what they talk about playing style, it's also fits his playing style. One of the awesome things was that Surf, at a very young age, builds, teaches goalkeepers in the back to build from the back and play with your feet and do all this sort of stuff. And so that's all of Duran's sort of skills with his feet and his abilities really came from Surf soccer, to be honest with you.
Wow.
And their goalkeeper coach Kellen Bronis has been with him since the day he started playing goalkeeper up until even now. In off season, he'll train with him and do different things. And so Loyal has been so experiment. Like Nate was crazy, to be honest with you, with his style of playing a goalkeeper up, and so aggressive and experimental to some extent, at least from my opinion. He'll say it's not experimental. He's probably very dialed in, but playing that type of soccer, which will probably be the norm in 10 years, was really awesome, and just kind of allowed Duran to grow from the Surf build up into this Loyal, intense thing, and then to go into San Diego FC with a very similar style of play. I can only say it's a blessing, because it's not always that simple. He could be on a team that just wants to kick the ball, or doesn't have the back line to be able to play out the back and all that sort of stuff. So it's a blessing. It's awesome. We love watching it. Big fan.
So, I mean, the question was asked here in the chat by Luis Amaya, like, so would he have been allowed? Because right now he's globetrotting it with U.S. Youth national team, right? Like that's the parent aspect of that has to be crazy. The wildest field trip ever asked. The permission slips must be insane. Make sure you read those. But he's out. He's doing his thing. What do you see from your perspective when you see your boy going into these exotic tropical lands and or different places around the world? Like he's seeing the world at a very young age.
Yeah. Right now he's on a flight from Mexico, Leon, Mexico. Right now he should be landing here in San Diego in about an hour. It's pretty it's insane. The guy, I mean, Loyal traveled what do they claim, like 40,000 miles last year?
Yeah.
Something like that. And that didn't include his trip to Brazil with the US, to Guatemala with the Gold Cup, to Indonesia for the World Cup. So I mean, that was all just last year. He must have traveled like 60, 75,000 miles on an air, and which is it's wild to me. It sounds completely exhausting. Thank God he's young and probably doesn't really know any better. But like, yeah, it's insane. It's pretty crazy. I mean, as far as his question goes, as far as letting him go to a European academy, at this point, I'm literally just his dad, and so now he and his agent and all this sort of stuff, make up most of the decisions that are good for him. But as going to play in academy or in Europe, you have to be 18 or have a to actually get minutes. So he doesn't have a European passport. So, but he turns 18 in September. But he's so excited for San Diego FC. I mean, I'm not here to speak for him, but yeah, that's sort of the scenario there.
You know what? If we we might need to do a little bit more research on it, but there's a chance Duran was probably the pro player in the world with the most mileage traveled last season.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, he's
If
on
you
there.
think about it,
If San Diego Loyal was
The most
described the
traveled
most traveled
in
team
the
in the
world,
world, by de facto,
Duran traveled more
puts
than any
him-
player in that team.
Oh, by maybe dub. Like I don't know. Like we have to pull out the map and do the thing. But yeah, it was what was it?
That's
So
insane.
Brazil. Was it Brazil? I can't even remember now, to be honest with you. But
Guatemala,
Guatemala, Brazil. Oh, it was Brazil for a camp. They played Brazil. And then Indonesia.
Chavalones,
who
but
else was
yeah.
it? I mean, no, there's no other.
Like, that's what I'm
Literally,
trying to
the only
say.
one that had a chance were the Kiwis, maybe, but that's about it. Kyle Adams,
Yeah,
or-
Kyle Adams went back. Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, what? Yeah, no, yeah. I'm gonna hit up virtual stat man, Sean, San Diego Loyal, who helped put the Loyal Legacy book out.
Yeah, he'll probably
Definitely
get a
know
better
that
answer.
guy.
Or he'll get
is-
on it. That he'll probably
He's on a
spark little
yacht.
light bulb.
He's on a yacht in Monaco right now, just
Some
watching
somewhere
football to the
in the
mic.
it's cool.
But what's next, Michael? Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
what's the dream destination?
Are you living it? Is that what it is? Because that's a fair answer too.
What's that?
What's the dream as far as right now? Just
For
are you
Duran?
satisfied for as a pop? Like,
Oh, for me. Oh no, everything he does. I'm completely satisfied with what he's doing. I'm so impressed by his work ethic, his mentality. Like I said, I wish I could take credit for it. You know what I mean? But really, I think he's just sort of a gifted individual from an athletic standpoint and a mental standpoint. He goes to school every day. After drives up to Irvine right now, playing with Orange County, gets back at 1:30, goes to school at 2. This school, I never have to ask him, did you do your homework? He does it, gets home, then he'll go to sauna or an ice bath, and then he'll come home, go to sleep. He doesn't drink soda. Like, the kid is kind of crazy, to be honest with you. In my mind, like, I'm like, do you want a soda? No, I'll just drink. I'll have water, or whatever. And it's not even a big deal. It's just what he does. Like, it's just his thing, and I think he literally is thinking way further than I'm thinking. So no, I'm impressed by him as just a man, and I can't be more proud of him just as an individual. And anything he does with sports is literally icing on the cake. So
I love that. I mean, look, we've come across him a couple times, and we work with the youth, so I can tell you from a mile away when there's a good kid, and when there's no such thing as a bad kid. There's just a good kid that made bad choices. But I'll say that Duran is up there, man. So you've done a fantastic job with him, and at the end of the day, like, he's gonna be his own man coming up, and we're gonna be witnesses to something very special. Esteban knows too. Fellow goalkeepers, very, very mature, has a good mentality. I mean, he shook off a red card from what I saw. Just, I mean, like nothing, like almost like that didn't even happen. And I was very happy with that. I was like, good.
That was the craziest thing. As far as a parent, like, I feel like I might be more traumatized than he is in most situations, with these things. Because, like, that was insane, bro. That was insane, that game. And he, did his best and made it, went out on a couple balls that who knows what he should have done in those situations, right? But, like, get a red card in a Gold Cup final as a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Probably never been go get your stat guy on that one too.
Yeah.
Duran probably the first for that too. And we haven't talked about it after we talked about after the game, of course, and all that sort of stuff. And really the conversation was like, it is what it is. We move on, and that's just how that's how it goes. That's the wonderful, beautiful game of soccer. And so things like that happen. But I mean, that was crazy. I mean, that whole tournament was crazy. I mean, they played Guatemala, and they're shining like lights in his eyes, like
lasers.
the lasers in his eyes on PKs and throughout the game, and that was like super hostile. That's why it's funny, because, like, a little inside baseball, but there's been times, I'll just talk generally, where people go, I don't know if I want to put a kid into the game right now, or into the game. And I go, we're talking about a USL game. First of all, he's played in Guatemala against a very hostile crowd. He played against Mexico, lost. I think he's trust me, he's probably played in bigger games than most USL players. No offense, please, sorry, but so I don't think you have to worry about that, as a thing, other than skill and making normal mistakes because inexperience. But you don't have to worry about his mentality,
Yeah. And that's something that definitely usually comes with later in age. But again, testament to where he's at in his development is he's ahead of the game. He's definitely ahead of the game. One last question here, Michael. It has to do with that mural. We were there for the kit reveal. I have one question that can be answered. The second one, I don't know if you can or want to. I'd really, really like if
let me take a sip of my tequila first, and then I'll determine if I answer or not.
Here we go. All right. First question is, have you negotiated with Andrew Vasiliadis on trying to take that wall home? One.
That's funny. I think he was kind of weirded out by it, right? And I'm not just talking about the painting, okay? I know there's all sorts of things with that. And God bless those two painters. They're amazing. They're amazing artists. So there's no way we can critique them. But yeah, he's like, what is they're gonna what? They're gonna do a paint. This is he's 16. It was kind of just like a weird. You were there, Tony.
Yeah.
And you asked him, and he's like, yeah. And they did a reveal, and he just goes, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know what am I supposed to say about
this.
That's
a 16-year-old answer. Like, I love that. It's like, oh, okay, cool, thanks.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah, I don't know how to process this
trying
thing.
to go play Fortnite with my boys. Like, sorry.
But it is. I guess it's still up. Yeah. Didn't Andrew say that on your interview? I think he said it's still up.
Yeah, no, it's still up. Giant sign still up. Shake Shack still across the street or across the way. So, it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. I'm really curious. Like, I think in the Museum of Loyal that Coach Beto Kitman has, that wall needs to exist at least.
That'd be sick.
That was kind of the best. Am I wrong in saying I felt like that one was the most similar to the player? No,
I can. Collins, yeah, no, okay.
Yeah.
Guido was having a shellfish allergic reaction while dribbling the ball. Colin was a Colin, probably somewhere. That was a Colin.
It was a variant.
Duran, I can definitely see. You know why? Because he's very young and his features haven't developed. So you know what? That is at that point. I will back you up on that 100%.
I felt like it was, similar. It's, it's close. I think he had like a broken finger though in it, I think his one finger was like out or something. I don't know. But are you able to pull it up?
I'm pulling it up right. I remember that day. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at that smile of him like, yeah, that's
me on the wall.
That's me. Yeah. There it is.
Yeah, look at that pinky.
Yeah, it's that pinky, dude. It's already broken. Hopefully that's not foreshadowing,
Yeah, no, he'll be fine. Make sure he wraps. Make sure he gets that proper wrappage against around the fingers. But
yeah,
that has to be
pinky. That left pinky is a little wonky.
I love it. Now I'm looking at it right now. That does look like Duran. Like that's the closest one to out of the three. I saw the renderings for the other players and. Not the ones that actually happened, but some of the other players. I'm like, I'm glad they went with simple features here.
They did call him dirty on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really did.
They should put a mirror and just like, you can be a loyal player instead of just giving him a face, right? But Michael, it's been an absolute pleasure tonight. I know, you're picking him up. Is that what's happening? Dad has that responsibility.
No, mom's getting him. Mom's getting him. Yeah. So I'm gonna enjoy the rest of the show with everybody else here.
No, appreciate you, but this is something something that I really enjoy. Again, it's a different perspective, and again, as we move forward, if you ever want to hop on back, I'd love to do that, and even do at some point a father-son pod.
Is Tony? Is Luis saying I'm like? Am I the Deadpool Ryan Reynolds? Like, because that's offensive, Luis. Like,
your regeneration cells actually work.
okay.
So that's you're that nice pool V.
Okay, before the
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, all right. I take
Absolutely.
that. All right.
Uh,
I wish.
Yeah, no,
My wife wishes too.
love that, Michael. It's been an
All right.
absolute pleasure. We'll have you back soon. Thank you for joining us.
Right.
San Diego.
Just want to say one thing.
Yes.
One thing. I have I watch you guys forever, and I just want to say, Chiva, I stand with you a little bit in solidarity. I'm gonna burn a lot of bridges here, but I just want you to know that I'm right here with you, my friend. Right here with you. Okay. All right. Now you can take me off.
I love that. Thank you so much, Michael. Have a great night.
All right. See ya.
Have a good one, Michael. That was for you. That was for
does
you.
Michael fall like
That was for you, Chiva.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I feel about that actually.
I know. That was great.
Which makes me
in your best dads, what does Michael fall? Like Michael's a pretty fucking cool dad.
Everything seems fine, but this leads me to believe, Chiva, a dangerous, this dangerous thought.
Jeremy, what the fuck?
Does this make Duran Ferree a Dodger fan? I don't want to know. I don't want to find out. I'd rather not know.
Duran Ferree could potentially land to LAFC or LA Galaxy.
LA, lifelong LA fan. The Ferrees. I see Abe turn on his light. We're gonna have him join on if you want that thumbs up. All right, cool, perfect. All right, cool, excellent. That's breaking news. Duran Ferree, first San Diego loyal player to transition, first San Diego FC player to sign, is not a Dodger fan. He is indeed a Padre fan. Breaking news through and through. Thank goodness. I'm trying to figure out when.
I thought Michael was going to say, I agree with you. Playing anywhere in Europe is better than playing anywhere. I was like, yes, thanks. I was not expecting it.
I was not expecting that at all.
That was amazing.
That's fantastic.